promised you content, and I promised you daily content. I'm struggling a bit, so please bear with me. I didn't promise quality daily content, did I? I didn't specify how good it might be. Could have gone for the tap-in today. The tap-in was because it's the England-Bulgaria game, the racism, all the rest of it. Number one, everybody knows my views on it if you watch these videos. Number two, nothing will happen. And I get bored listening to the cliches. We need to educate them. You can't educate them. They know it's wrong. You've seen the state of some of the fans, by the way, some of the Bulgaria fans. You can't educate them. This is ingrained. It's cultural. You're not going to suddenly convince a bunch of racists that have been chanting monkey noises and all the rest of it. What you can do, send them to an evening class and convince them they actually really like everybody equally and everybody's the same. They're not going to. You're not going to change them. There's only one thing to do, and that's punish them. And punish them hard. But don't threaten a punishment. I remember the English problem. We had massive hooliganism problem. And they were threatening everything for years and years and years. But even the threats, they didn't stop Liverpool fans going to Heysel, killing a load of people and all the rest of it. Eventually, they kicked the English clubs out of European football. Of course, the one time that West Ham might have actually qualified for something, we were banned from European football. But they either come down hard or they don't. They won't come down hard. The fans, they're not going to be educated. Today, does this look like a bunch of people that are ready for education? I mean, come on. It's absolutely crazy. The best response was actually from the England fans. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know if I'll try and nick the clip and put it in here. That's the best response. You know, for those of you that didn't, so there's a clip the England fans were singing back and taunting the Bulgaria fans, which I thought was quite clever and quite good. Anyway, that's that. It's a load of rubbish, and more of it will continue to happen. What I did want to talk about was an article I saw in Claret and Hugh caught my attention. The article is about Pellegrini being ready to bring players in January, to bring a striker in, and the article also goes on to mention a centre-back. Now, the article particularly caught my attention because there was almost a little caveat under each one. It said a striker, looks to bring out a striker on loan, it said. Went on to talk about a centre-half, or that he was highlighting targeting centre-halves. Again, it said possibly on loan. And it was the on loan bit that annoyed me, really, because I think why? Why would it be on loan? Why necessarily, if we buy a player, does it have to be on loan? Now, for once, I've actually done a little bit of research and I put some figures down, which I got on my laptop just here. But I mean, just to put it into context, we're battling it out with a load of clubs that aren't Liverpool, Manchester City, I think probably Arsenal, and I think probably Tottenham as well. So I think we're battling it out with a load of other clubs to see who can finish in the high to average places in the Premier League, let's say. So let's just go through them. Crystal Palace, they've got a £50 million cheque burning a hole in their pocket. That's from Wan-Bissaka. They didn't spend it. They barely spent any of their TV money, so they've got at least £50 million to spend. I would pretty much guarantee that Steve Parish has promised that to Roy Hodgson, and I think they put all their eggs in one basket and decided that what they wanted to do was get Batshuayi on loan again or try and buy him permanently. Didn't happen, and now he's not going to go. I think Lampard wants to keep him at Chelsea as the impact substitute. So I think they're probably going to buy a striker. So however good we think Palace are now, or you might think they're good, you might think they're lucky, whatever, they're going to be better because they'll buy a player. Then you've got Leicester. Leicester got 80 million burning a hole in their pocket. They didn't replace Harry Maguire. Now, actually, turns out they've got a couple of good young centre-backs coming through the ranks, but they've still got 80 million to spend. And a manager who'll be more than prepared to spend it. And I'll tell you now, if Leicester City, I think they might even be in the top four at the moment, if Leicester City are around the top four, top five, they're going to go out and spend that money because they're going to see it as an opportunity to put and make a push for that Champions League place, which means Leicester City are going to be better than they are now. Where else have I got? Manchester United. Absolutely terrible at the moment. Formerly the richest club in the world, probably not at the moment, but they've got plenty of money. They've got a ton more than anybody else, probably. they're going to spend. There's no way they're going to stay exactly where they are and hope that Daniel James and all these players and Rashford and all these players start to produce on a regular basis. No, they're going to go out, and I would imagine they'll probably buy someone world class. I think is Lukaku on loan? Maybe on loan. I think he's on loan, but the permanent deal goes through and it's 70, 80 million, something like that. They've got bundles and bundles of cash. Manchester United, Everton are spent, because they spend all the time. That's what they do. Do not be surprised to see Everton spend another 50 million. Then we got Wolves, who've got money. They decided not to spend it. You know, they made a couple of deals permanent, didn't they? Jimenez and then Donko, who were on loan. They made those permanent. But they've got rich backers, and I think they probably thought that they could go through using the same squad. They used very few players last season, of course. I think their little European campaign has taught them that they probably need a player or two more. Wolves will buy. Expect Wolves to get better. And the other one is Bournemouth. I think it might even have been last January. I think possibly he bought Solanke for 19 million. Now, whether you think Solanke is good, bad or indifferent, and I think he's, well, not good, certainly, they still had 19 million to spend. What Bournemouth have shown that they'll go out and they'll buy they'll spend 20 million pounds on a player. So do Bournemouth have the capacity to improve? Yes. Then you also think that Brooks, who was arguably their best player last season, is going to be coming back from injury as well. They're going to improve. All these teams, and here's my point, are going to improve and spend money. So why are we looking for a loan? Why on loan? Well, hold on a second. Let's have a look at the finances. Why would it possibly be that we would only be able to make loan signings? And here's the figures. I'll flash up what bits and pieces I can up on the screen. You have to excuse me because I try and edit these quick in my lunch break. The editing's a bit messy. You don't care, do you? I'm just going to pop it up anyway. Okay, so basically, West Ham earn about 185 million quid a year. A lot of the figures are old figures. It changes a little bit with sponsorship deals. That breaks down to basically £32 million from corporate sponsorship. Matchday revenue is 24 million as well. I think last season we earned about 120 million from television deals, not just Sky, BT, the overseas television rights. It's worth about 185 million is what we get. Now here's where it gets really, really interesting. Last season, so season 2018 to 2019, our wage bill was 67 million. Okay, that was our wage bill, 67 million quid. We had the likes of Arnautovic, who was a big earner. Remember Perez, we had Nasri, of course Chicharito was on the wage bill. Andy Carroll was on monster money, huge money. This season, so season 2019-2020, our wage bill is £45.3 million. So I just say this, last season our wage bill was 67 million. This season is 45 million. Now you're going to have to allow me a little bit of leeway here. I'm not Kieran Maguire, I'm not an accountant. There may be some little disparity, but by and large, it's about, even if we're being conservative here, our wage bills, we've saved 20 million off the wage bill alone. That's massive. I mean, that gets you a loan signing, doesn't it? I mean, I don't even Lionel Messi has £20 million a year or something like that. So that's a massive saving on wages. They probably did need to save on wages. I don't really have a problem with that. But the suggestion that it has to be just on a loan signing is strange, particularly when you look at the figures. Then, what I want to do, just let me scroll down here. Last season, at the start, this summer transfer window, we bought £71 million worth of players. I'll flash it up on the screen now. But we also sold some. We sold £48 million worth of players. So basically, we spent 23 million quid in the summer. And then saved 20 million on wages. You could argue, if you want to do your maths in a very, very simplistic type of way, that we're 3 million down by those. Now, when you look at the fact that we're making profits, and actually a lot of the Premier League are starting to make a profit now, you start to wonder, why would we only make a loan signing? Now, I don't necessarily believe it. Maybe there's a bit of smoke and mirrors. Certainly when the Maxi Gomez saga was going on, we tried to play Maxi Gomez's buyout. We basically made Celta Vigo an offer which we knew that they would refuse, which was, I think we tried to spread the payment over 6 or 7 years. They were never going to do it. That's because I never thought, for those of you that regular watchers will know, I never thought that we were seriously in for Maxi Gomez. Just don't ever think that we fancied the player, and rightly so. But I think what we were doing, we were playing a little bit sneaky. We were playing a little bit of smoke and mirrors, because actually we did have the money. Because I think Frankfurt wanted the whatever it was, 40 million pound a Allaire paid over 2 seasons. We had the money. We went and paid it. That's fine. So we had the money there anyway. But in the build-up, and here's my point, in the build-up to the signing, we played the pauper. We were the orphan Oliver, weren't we? Going up with a bowl in our hands, begging for a bit more gruel. It didn't happen. Actually, we did have the money. Obviously, we bought Fornals as well, and there was a bit of squad padding as well, of course, as I'm sure you'll know. But I still believe there's money there for a striker. And don't forget, after our window closed, we then sold Chicharito as well. Massive, massive bit off the wage bill. And I think we got 7 million quid for him as well. So I don't believe it. I don't believe it that we're only looking for a couple of loan signings. I think there's money there for a decent signing. 20, 30 million pound signing on big wages. Big wages. We could almost sign someone for 30 million, 20, 30 million quid, and he'd be the highest wage earner in the club. If I'm wrong, why am I wrong? If not, why not? Because the figures are clear. I think so anyway. I'll put it up on the screen. You decide for yourself. But I do think there's someone coming in. I do think it might be smoke and mirrors. And I don't think we can look forward to somebody coming in. Because if we don't, then all the teams that I mentioned at the start of the show, like Leicester and Palace and Man United and a lot of the teams that we're competing with at the moment, are going to improve. We won't improve. And we may well find it very, very difficult to hold our position in the league. Let me know what you think.